Hey, what's up guys, Omogonix here and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. So in today's Unity tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do random light flickering in Unity using C#. So let's say for example you're making a horror game and you want the player's flashlight or something like that, like just a random light even, to flicker at random moments in order to scare the player. Well, today's tutorial is hopefully going to help you with that. So what I've got here in this scene at the moment is I've just got a point light set up, and in this tutorial as an example I'm going to be making it flicker at random. So if you guys do enjoy this tutorial or you do find it helpful, be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more. And let's get right into the tutorial. So as I just mentioned as an example before, let's say for example you're making a horror game and your player has like a flashlight, or there could even just be a couple lights in your scene, right? And let's say for example you might want a few of them lights to flicker at random in order to scare the player a bit. And the reason as to why you might want them to flicker at random instead of just flickering just all the time or on trigger is, you know, to startle the player a bit more so then they're not expecting it. Because each time the player plays through the game, they might be expecting lights to flicker at certain moments, but what they might come to realize is, oh wait a second, it's randomized, and so then they're not expecting it. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the lights flicker at random today, and I'm even going to be making multiple light flicker animations as well, so then it's not just using the same light flickering animation over and over again, it's just so then there's a bit more variety. So let's get right into it. So here we have my point light that I'm using as an example in the scene. And what we're going to be doing first off is we're going to be going window, and then animation, and then animation again. And then you just want to click on the animation button, and once you do, that should open up the animation window. So with your point light selected, you just want to click create in the animation window. And then you will be brought up to here where now you'll need to select a directory for your animation to be created. So once you select the folder where you want your animation to be created, just type in your animation's name. So my one's going to be called Light Flicker 1. And the reason as to why my animation is going to be called Light Flicker 1 is because, you know, I'm going to have multiple light flicker animations. And for this tutorial in particular, I'm going to be making 3 separate light flicker animations. Alrighty, so once you have your animation created, what you want to do now is, with your point light selected, make sure that you select your red button in order to start recording, and you'll know that it's recording when the background behind the red button has gone red too, and also the timeline will go red as well. And then in order to stop recording, just press the red button again, and then boom, it stops recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start recording, and then I'm just going to select a random point in my timeline. Also, you can use the mouse wheel to like scroll in and out, so then you can like zoom in and out of the timeline if you want to. And then you also have like scroll bars, so then you can actually like, you know, just scroll through your timeline if you want to. And yeah, so let's make this light flicker. So I'm just going to select a random point in my timeline. Then on my light, I'm actually going to turn down the intensity of it. And then at another random point in my timeline, I'm going to turn it up again, and I'm just going to rinse and repeat. And each time it goes on, I'm just going to set it at random points. So I'll just be going up and down constantly, basically. And yeah. So let's see how this looks currently. And as you can see, this here is the first light flicker animation. So I do think this is quite good. We'll leave that as my first light flicker animation. So when you're done making your first flicker animation, just press the red button to stop recording. And then where it says your light flicker animation's name, you just want to click on this drop down, and then you want to click create new clip. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a second light flicker animation. So I'm going to call this light flicker 2. And I'm going to basically do the same thing again where we start recording by pressing the red button. And then just select the random point in the timeline and then just do the intensity changing of the light. If you want to as well, instead of doing intensity changing, you could also just do you know, just enabling the light on and off. That's totally fine as well if you want to do that sort of flickering. Alright, let's see how this animation looks. And boom, it's a bit fast, and you know, if you're like if you're vulnerable to like flashing lights and stuff like that, you most likely shouldn't be looking at this. And yeah, so just a warning there. But yeah, I do feel like this flashing light is maybe a bit fast. We'll just slow it down a bit by extending out the timeline a bit. And yeah, so that's a bit better now, as you can see. So now we have a light flicker 2, and then we have light flicker 1. Alrighty, so now last but not least, I'm going to be doing light flicker 3. So just click on the drop down menu again and then go create new clip. And then this is going to be called light flicker 3. Alrighty, so just going to rinse and repeat again, press the red button to start recording. And then just, yeah, just do the intensity changing or whatever you want to do for your light. So for this one, in fact, I'm going to just do a basic enabling and disabling, you know, just add a bit of variety into it. So we'll do that. Just a bit of enabling and disabling. And there we go. I might move a bit of the things closer just so that it's not just like, you know, samey type stuff. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Alright, there we go. So that there is light flicker 3. Alrighty, so now that we've got our 3 light flicker animations done, here's what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Window, and then Animation, and then Animator, and then that will bring up the Animator window. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your point light selected when you're in the Animator window, and you should see your 3 light flicker animations. So we have light flicker 1, light flicker 2, and light flicker 3. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to right click in the Animator window, and we're going to create state empty. And this will be our new empty state. And then we're going to right click on this, and then we're going to go set as default state. So now the new empty state is our default state, and this is so then the light flicker animations don't play as soon as the scene starts. So what we're going to do now is when you open up your animator window, if your tab in the top left here is on the layers tab, you just want to change this over to parameters, and then you want to click the plus icon and then click trigger. And now we're going to type in 3 new triggers. So this one's just going to be called flicker, and then we're going to have flicker 2, and then last but not least is flicker 3. And there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the new state, go make transition, and we're going to add a transition arrow from the new state to light flicker 1. Now we're going to click on this transition arrow, we're going to turn off has exit time, and then we're going to add the flicker condition. And then from light flicker 1 we're going to make a transition over to the new state. And we're not going to make any changes to this transition arrow from light flicker 1 to the new state either. This will just stay normal. And then you just want to rinse and repeat with the other 2 light flicker animations as well. So again, just right click on the new state, go make transition, and then drag it over to light flicker 2, and then click on the arrow, turn off as exit time, and then apply the flicker 2 condition, and then just make a transition arrow back from this to new state, and then boom. And then just do the same with light flicker 3, except this time instead of setting instead of setting flicker 2 as the condition, you want to set flicker 3 as the condition. And then boom. And then we're going to right click here, make transition, and then back to the new state, and then boom, that is our animator set up. Alrighty, so now that our animator is set up, we can actually get to the scripting now, so let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to right click in our project folder, and we're going to create and then C# script. And this script of mine is just going to be called light flicker. You guys can call your scripts what you want though. And so once you create your script, we're going to double click on it. And then boom. So once you double click on your script and open it, you just want to get rid of this starter stuff here. And then we're going to enter out a couple variables. So first up, we need a public animator variable for our animator, of course, so for our lights animator. So we're just going to call this anim for short. Next up, we're just going to have a normal bool called flickering. And for those of you who don't know what a bool is something that can equal to true or false. So whether flickering is equal to true or not will determine whether the light will flicker at random. And for those of you who don't know what a public variable is either, for this public animator variable here, for example, this basically just means that we can assign the variable in the Unity editor without having to do it in code. And then our next variable will be a public list variable, so public list. And this will actually contain a list of strings, and this will be called animation names. Or will trigger names be better? Maybe trigger names actually, yeah, we'll call this trigger names. So basically this will store the trigger names that will be used to make our animator play. So let's say for example a random number is chosen, right? And then that random number determines which string in this list of strings gets chosen. So what this list of strings is for is it's for the trigger names that are stored in our animator, so whether it be flicker1, flicker2, or flicker3, whether a random number is chosen and that number is applied to this list of strings here, that will be the trigger name which will then be used to make one of the flicker animations play. Alright, so we've got two more variables to do, and these are both public float variables. And for those of you who don't know what floats are, they're basically numbers that can be decimal points. So whether it be 2.0, 1.1, 4.563, you know, stuff like that. You know, and then you have integers, which are like whole numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get it. And yeah, so we're going to be using two public float variables. One is going to be called min time and then max time. And what these are for is this will determine the minimum time and the maximum time in which the lights can flicker. So basically, when the random time is chosen, it's chosen between the min time and the max time. Alright, so now we're going to get to our first function. So we're going to go void start. And what this does is it will basically make stuff occur as soon as the game starts. So in void start, we're going to be going start coroutine, and this coroutine will just be called flicker lights. So we'll just call it flicker lights, and then boom, that's our start void done. So then beneath that, we're going to be just pressing enter to go underneath, and then we're going to be doing enumerator flicker lights. So this will be our coroutine here. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go float rand time, and what this will do is this will select a random time in which the light will then next flicker. Oh, wait a second actually. Before we do that, we will keep that line of code there since it is important, but first off what we need to do is we need to go while, and then in brackets, flickering, and then we'll, just to be safe, we'll go equals to true. So what this will do is this will make the coroutine repeat itself. So whilst flickering is equal to true, this coroutine will constantly repeat itself. So even once the light flickers once, it will be able to flicker again after another random amount of time. So here we have a float which we'll be creating in this enumerator called randtime, and what this float will be equaling to is random.range min time and max time. So basically the rand time will equal to a number between the min time and max time. So let's say for example the min time is 3 and then the max time is 100. The rand time will select between the min time and max time, and it could select for example 50.2 or something like that. So now underneath that we're going to be going yield return new wait for seconds rand time. So the rand time will be based in seconds, do remember that. Alrighty, so now underneath this yield return new wait for seconds line, we're just going to press enter, and then we're going to enter out the following: string name equals, and then we're going to enter out trigger names, and then we're going to be doing these kinds of brackets, and then we're going to be going random.range 0, and then trigger names dot count. So what this is doing here is basically we have a string variable called name which is being created, and then that will get a random string from the trigger names list. So basically we are just getting a random number. So let's say for example flicker1 equals to 0 because it's element 0 of the array of the list, whatever you want to call it. Then yeah, if 0 is selected, then that means that flicker1 will be the flicker animation that plays. Meanwhile, if 1 is selected, then that means that flicker2 will play, and so on and so forth. So what trigger names.count is it's basically the number of strings we have in our list of strings. So now after our name is selected, what we're going to be doing is now we're going to be going anim.setTrigger, and then we're going to be putting in the brackets here name. And now what will happen is once the string is selected from the list of trigger names, what will then happen is the animator's trigger will then be set to that name. And then boom, that's pretty much it, done. So now once we're done with the script, we can go back into the scene. And now once we're back in the scene, just click on your light and then apply your script to it. And then now we just need to fill in the variables. So I'm going to drag my light into the anim variable since, you know, that's where my animator is. So with my trigger names here, now what I'm going to do is, as you can see, you can actually either press these plus icons or you can just enter out a number you want of how many you want in this list. So I have 3 light flickering animations, so I'm going to enter out 3. And then I'm going to enter in the trigger names of them light flicker animations. So we have flicker1. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, right? Yeah, wait, no, it's just flicker. Not flicker1, sorry. So we have flicker, and then flicker2, and then flicker3. And boom. And then with the min time, I'm going to set this to 3, and then the max time, I'm going to set this to 20. So between every 3 and 20 seconds, the light will flicker. And boom, that should be it done. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play and test it out and see if it all works. Alrighty guys, so one thing that I actually forgot to do, before we do test it, one thing that I forgot to do as well guys, is in your script you want to make sure that the flickering bool equals to true. So where we have the bool being created, just make sure you put equals true next to it so then it equals to true, because otherwise the flickering won't work. Because fun fact, I actually just was testing it out just then. I recorded a part of the video where I'm like, alright guys, let's test it out now. And then literally nothing happened, and then I realized, oh wait a second, I forgot to make sure that flickering equals to true. Alrighty, so now we're actually going to test it out again and see how it all goes. And as you can see, the light flickered. So I will stand here for, you know, another few minutes or so, just watching it flicker at random, just so then you guys can see it in action. But, you know, as it does function, how about I do the outro for the video? So thank you all for watching. If this tutorial did help you all out, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Also, something else I would like to say as well is, as I'm recording this video, my game Bodhi and Friends is currently 40% off both on Steam and itch.io until January 5th. It's basically like a winter sale type thing for Christmas. So if you do want to get Bodhi and Friends for cheaper and you don't own the game yet, now might be the best time to be able to do that. Of course, there might be times in the future where you could get it for even cheaper than 40% off, but you know, it all depends. Also guys, be sure to go wishlist my game URLium Shadow Memories on Steam. That would definitely mean a lot. It's basically my next big game project that I'm working on, and you know, I'm not working on it alone either. I've also got a friend of mine, Aaron, who is also helping. He's basically been making a lot of the models for the game. So whilst I've been doing a lot of the in-engine work, he's been making models, and he's done a pretty good job at it too. And it really does contribute to the overall more realistic art style of the game. So yeah, anyways, again guys, that's the end of this tutorial. As you can see, the light is flickering well, it flickers at random, and yeah. So if you guys did enjoy this tutorial, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.